Hello, everybody, and welcome to our latest live events. We're back live after a couple of months break. I hope you all had a good summer if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. We have with us today Chantal from the Marketing and Communication Group, and Nik and Adam, Nik Szymanek and Adam Block from our judging panel group, and they are our ambassadors and mentors. And you'll also see some new faces. They are from Stellar Xperiences, our friends, our new friends, and they'll have some space today to tell you about well, what they do and Milky Way astrophotography. So Chantal, you can probably share the presentation now so we can have a quick look at the agenda. The format hasn't changed. I'll still give you some updates from the Telescope Live headquarters. And then I'll pass the floor to our friends from Stellar Xperiences who will talk about stacking images in landscape astrophotography, which is something new to Telescope Live. We've always talked about deep sky imaging within our community, and then we'd like to start introducing landscape photography as well. And of course, we've got the main topic of today, which is the announcement of the contest winners from last month's contest, and we are going to announce the new contest for September 2021. Okay, Chantal. All right. So, as you might have seen, if you're an old-time user, we've deployed some changes to the interface recently in August. And the two major changes that we applied were in the navigation of the one-click observations and in the download manager. So we have sent you a survey a couple of months ago, and from the replies we had, the clear issues that we identified were around the way in which people could navigate the one-click observations and the way in which they could download the one-click observations. So Chantal, if you let me share the screen, I'll quickly show you what the new changes are. I guess, you know, if you've used it, I'm sure you've noticed the changes. The main changes around the way in which you navigate your completed observations. So you can now filter all the observations and browse your observations using multiple filters. We've introduced pagination of your one-click observations, and that's a much easier way to navigate through many one-click observations. And lastly, we've also added the ability to switch between a tile view and a table view. And here we are with a table view where you can display up to 200 one-click observations at a time. Another thing that you can do is that if you start to, for instance, change page, you'll always have the previous steps stored in your browser. So if you press back, you'll go back to your previous page. So that should really help you navigate through multiple one-click observations. And bear in mind that this is also available through my pending observations and new observations as well. Now, the second aspect that we wanted to improve was the way in which we download one-click observations. And what you can do right now is a one-click download. So here you have download FITS images, and here you're going to download the calibrated FITS images that correspond to the specific one-click observation. And what starts is a new download manager, a pop-up that appears here at the bottom left, from which you can then download the images. Now, if you close this, you'll have the download manager available again from the left sidebar, and here you've got your download. Now, the downloads expire. After 14 days, we delete the download, because what we do actually is to take the FITS images, we create a zip file of the FITS images, and we deliver it to you. Now, if this download expires, or if you decide to delete the download, you know, the original images are stored. So you just need to regenerate a download. Another thing that we've done is to give you the ability to access the direct link to the download by going to again, download manager, you find the download you requested. And if you click this icon here, well, you can access the direct link. And now this is useful to either share the images with somebody else, but also for people who have very slow connections, you can use a download manager on your own computer, and you can, insert the link and then resume the download whenever you want, or split the download into multiple nights, for instance. Okay, so this is it. Chantal, I'll give it back to you. So these are two major changes that should improve the way in which you use the platform. And let me stop the screen share. Where is it? Here. Okay. Chantal, you can reshare. Fantastic. But what's next? So from the survey again, another, and well, this is clear to us as well. Another issue that we have is the mechanism to book future one-click observations. And the reason is that the schedule for the future observation is not fixed, and is heavily dependent on the weather and on the data quality. So sometimes we do get the images, but they are of poor quality, so we need to reacquire them. So it is therefore difficult to give you a precise and date, or it's difficult to guarantee a delivery date for a given one click. So even if we show you, that a given one click will be observed tomorrow or in 2 days, that one click might be postponed, and the chances for it to be postponed are relatively high. And the result is that you get confused. And you get frustrated because you have a limited number of one-click observations that you can select in the future, and if these are the ones that are delayed, you lose the opportunity to observe other one-click observations. So we're basically working in a new way for you to collect one-click images that will be less dependent on the future booking and the future schedule of these observations. And this is one of the major feedback that we got. We need to improve this. And the other thing that we will do together with this is to make more available and more accessible the huge database of images that we've acquired so far. So if you missed or if you missed the one-click observations, or you've just subscribed, the idea is that you'll still have the chance to grab images that have been acquired in the past. So expect some changes in the next few weeks. We are going to talk about more specifically about this topic in a new video, in a couple of blog posts, and the future will be launched in a few weeks. But before then, we'll possibly ask to some of you in our different plans to try this new feature or these changes in a preview mode, and so that you can give us some feedback. All right, so this is it about changes to the user interface. Yeah, next slide is good. And something I wanted to tell you is about this project that we've been working on together with the YouTube channel Astrobiscuit. So we've observed over the course of 6 months, probably slightly less, 4 months, the Hubble Variable Nebula. Now, this nebula with the 60 centimeters telescope in Chile. Now, this nebula at first appears like a normal nebula, but as the name suggests, it shows light variations in the form of light ripples that changes and evolve over the course of months. Actually, you can see the changes over the course of days. And so what we decided to do was to follow up this target for several months, and what we obtained is a quick short video showing these light ripples that propagate throughout the nebula. Now you can search for this YouTube video on YouTube, of course, by searching Astrobiscuit Seeing the Speed of Light. That's the title of the YouTube video, and we've decided to make this data set available as a pro data set. So it's a challenging one because it's not a static image, it's a video, it's a series of images that you need to combine together to create a video, but it's one of the rare examples in which astrophotography becomes time dependent. Astrophotography is usually outside the time domain. You know, you observe Andromeda and it's always there, as long as a supernova doesn't explode in that moment. But in this case, this nebula shows variations all the time over the course of the year. And well, you know, you can give it a go with the data set that we are providing. Okay, so this is it from me, I guess. We don't have anything else. No. So I'll leave the floor to our friends from Turkey, Stellar Xperiences, who will talk about how stacking matters even in Milky Way astrophotography. So Mustafa, I'll leave it to you.
Hello. Actually, John will start talking about Stellar Xperiences, then I will make the presentation.
So, hello everyone, I'm John. I'm one of the co-founders of Stellar Xperiences along with Mustafa and Okan. And I'd like to just give some brief information about Stellar Xperiences before we begin the presentation. So we've started with Stellar Xperiences 2 years ago, actually, before the pandemic. And me, Okan, and Mustafa knew each other personally since many years, and we're all interested in astrophotography. And we were actually one of the first ones in Turkey to get deep into this industry. So we decided to start a company called Stellar Xperiences because in Turkey we have the great advantage of dark skies, and we also have some interesting landscape and ancient cities. So we figured it might be quite an interesting experience to offer astrophotography courses and tours here in Turkey. So right as we were gonna start with our first experience in the ancient city of Phrygia, we had the pandemic. So that's why we had to postpone all our face-to-face courses, and we kept on with online theoretical courses. And now I would like to hand over to Okan. But before handing over to Okan, I'd like to also mention about our collaboration with Telescope Live. So basically, in our collaboration, we will have various projects. So, for example, one of them would be we'll be sharing and recording and sharing some online tutorials about Milky Way and landscape astrophotography and the stacking techniques, and also some more details. Besides that, we also have some other ideas for collaboration right now we're working on. And last week, Mustafa and Okan were out in the field shooting a video for Telescope Live, and soon we'll be publishing it. And we also have some other projects coming up. So yeah, and I'd like to hand over to Okan so he can talk to you about the courses that we offer and what we actually do. Thank you all.
Thank you, John, for handing over. And I'd like to thank you to Marco and Chantal for having us here as well. So as John mentioned, we have, after the pandemic started, we had to cope with the pandemic situation, and we kind of integrated some online courses in our experiences as well. We do have like different theoretical and practical courses, but after the pandemic slowed down last year, we had a face-to-face course in the field in a place called Kızıldağ National Park. We were trying to have a couple of more this year, but the pandemic didn't let us do. But we still have a couple of online courses. I'd like to tell a couple of them to you. First of all, we have wide Milky Way photography theory course. We have processing Milky Way photos in Lightroom practical course, which is both online and face-to-face. And also we do have Milky Way stacking courses, and we have Sky Tracker courses as well. And lastly, we do have a PixInsight online course as well. So we are also enlarging our courses in our database. Feel free to check our websites and our social media. And I'd like to hand over to Mustafa for the presentation. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, John and Okan. So I will share my screen. Okay, so like Marco mentioned, stacking matters even for Milky Way or say landscape astrophotography, because basically, you know, what we are facing in astrophotography, if it is even deep sky astrophotography or landscape astrophotography, we are facing some difficulties, and to come over these difficulties, we always want to stack and calibrate our photos. And actually, here it sounds like we are only talking about stacking, but even in Milky Way astrophotography, you can use calibration frames, and most of the time we use dark frames to come over some kind of noise. So here, oops, as we all know, you know, our main enemy is noise, and noise has lots of different sources, and we define noise as all unwanted signal is called noise, and there's several types of different noise depending on the source. One of them is shot noise, or you can call it photon noise, read noise, dark current or thermal signal, bias noise, hot and cold pixels on your sensor, or cosmic rays, or air glow can be counted as some of the noise types. What we are dealing here, especially when we are stacking, is shot noise actually, or you can also call it photon noise. Shot noise or photon noise is a random fluctuation in the arrival of photons as your sensor captures them. So when you're exposing your sensor to light and collecting photons, the photons that are coming are not equal all the time, and they are not hitting at the same place in the sensor. So this causes shot noise or photon noise. The solution to that is longer exposures and or stacking, or both. Actually, okay, so it's gone. And when we are stacking, actually what we are doing is using longer exposures or stacking, we are increasing the signal to noise ratio. And our main and the ultimate goal in astrophotography is always to increase the signal to noise ratio so that we can overcome the noise band and signal goes up on the noise band, and your images are less noisy and have more signal from the object you are shooting. So signal to noise ratio is signal over divided by noise actually, and noise is equal to square root of signal. So when you are shooting long exposures and stacking them, actually increasing signal and increasing noise. But as you can see, noise increases much slower than signal. So if you're exposing enough, you will have better photos with higher signal to noise ratio. So as you can see, as signal going up linearly, noise is not going like that, and at one point signal comes over noise, and of course it doesn't mean that you're deleting all the noise or you're avoiding all the noise. Of course you will have noise in your picture, but at least you will you're going to be handled some of the noise already. For instance, we can give an example like this. Number of photon, let's say, is the signal, and let's say it's hundreds, and the SNR will be 100 divided by square root of 100 will be 10. And in the second example, let's say you have 10,000 photons as signal. As you can see, as the signal increases, signal to noise ratio increases, and signal increases much more than noise at the end. And we can talk about how stacking works. Before that, I'd like to talk about bit depth. It is like a bit depth. If you have a camera with 14 bits, that means you have 16,384 tonal value between the dark, black and white. So when you're shooting a photo, your pixels will have values between 0 and 16,384. In the next slide, you'll see why I am explaining this. So when you're shooting an object in the night sky, your pixels will take these values, and it will show. Now I will show how stacking works. So let's say we have a sub with these values. I didn't go up with the values, so it would be easy to calculate. So you can see that 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, these are the values that your pixels take. And you can see in the middle, 4, 7, 6, 7. It's like, let's say there's a galaxy here because the value is getting higher. And in the second one, again, you can see every square is a pixel here. And again, there's the same galaxy here. And the third sub, you can see, again, there's the same galaxy here. What you're doing when you're stacking is actually summing up all the pixel values and averaging out, like here. So we summed 1, 2, and 1, and divided by 3, we have the 133. And we did the same thing for this pixel, 2, 2, 3, and for this pixel. And while you're stacking, averaging out, it is the software you're using is doing this actually. So at the end, as you see, the numbers are getting closer to each other, and that kind of shows that your the result stacked photo less noisier. And as you increase the number of subframes you stack, the resulting stacked image will be cleaner, a lot less noisier with higher signal to noise ratio. For instance, you can see here, this one is only one subframe. This is second two subframes stacked, 5 subframes, and 28 subframes. If you have a look closely, I don't know what happened here, you will see, especially at the darkest parts where signal is less than the other parts, you can see the noise here. You can see freckles, noisy, dusty look here, and it is getting less and less. Here in the 28 subframes, it is getting much, much less. And you can see the same thing in the night sky also. Here you can see noise, and the noise is getting less and less. At the end, you can have much cleaner sky and much cleaner landscape when you're stacking photos. And of course, within time, when you start shooting your first frame and the last frame, the night sky will be moved. If you're not using, and most of the time, Milky Way photographers do not use sky trackers, but some of them use, of course. But if you're not using, the stars will move within time. So you have to use a program to align stars. So you will have to tell the software that sky is here. That means the stars will be here, and the program will firstly register, or in other words, align the stars, and then it will stack. So it will freeze ground, so that ground looks also good, and star will be aligned in the final stacked image. And we are lucky that these softwares do that for us. As you can see, this is a single subframe again, and this is stacked without registering or aligning the stars. The stars will trail in the resulting stacked photo. That's something we don't want. So the program will align the stars and then stack to have the result stacked photo. And we can talk about some tips for stacking. Any photo taken as JPEG or RAW format by any camera can be stacked actually. But of course, we always shoot in RAW so that we can post-process our photos at the end. And the resulting image out of stacking programs will be TIFF format. But you can stack JPEG also, but we don't recommend you do that. And it would be really nice to lock your focus ring, because if you somehow change the focus while you're shooting for stacking in a sequence, and the focus are different in each subframes, then you may have little problems stacking them. So if your lens has a locking feature, do it. Or if you can't, you can just tape it so that your lens and your focus won't change. And you don't need image stabilization. Should be turned off because you will be shooting your subframes on a tripod and you will not be touching it, or nothing will be moving. That's why you don't need the image stabilization. And it is better to use a remote intervalometer, or if your camera has integrated intervalometer or intervalometer, it's good to use and make a sequence and shoot this sequence after one another. And of course, all the subframes should have the same settings, like same ISO, same exposure time, same diaphragm or aperture settings, and all the other settings should be the same, like white balance, and if the long exposure noise reduction is closed, is off, on one subframe, it should be off on the other ones as well. And of course, all the subframes should have same composition. Otherwise, you will not be able to stack them. And there are two actually very useful softwares. One of them is Stellar Landscape Stacker. It's quite fast and it's quite easy to use, but it only works on Mac OS, and it doesn't support RAW. But I think the future was coming. It may already came, or maybe it's coming, and only for wide field astrophotography. So you will be able to stack only landscape astrophotography, and it is paid. It is like something like $40.
Just want to add it, like you said, Mustafa, the RAW support actually just arrived, but I've tested it, and I think there are some problems with the RAW, using the RAW format, so I still rather use TIFF format.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And lastly, the other software is Equator. It is free. And it is also very fast, easy to use, and it has a star trail mode if you're into star trail photos. It works for deep sky. Both actually, this maybe thing is missing. In both programs, you can use dark frames actually, so you can calibrate your subframes with dark frames, and it works for deep sky and also wide field, and for wide field it works better, and it is only for Windows. And if you are doing it for deep sky astrophotography, it has limited options. You can, like I said, add dark calibration frames, also flat calibration frames, but it is limited. It has limited options for deep sky astrophotography, and of course, it doesn't support any stacking for planetary astrophotography also. And this is all. I don't know if I was too fast or if I was too slow. Thanks for bearing.
Thank you, Mustafa. And so just let me say that please use the chat on YouTube if you want to ask any questions throughout the event, throughout the live event, and we'll answer all questions at the very end. So even if you've got questions for Stellar Xperiences guys, Mustafa and the rest of the team, yeah, type them now and we'll answer later. I guess we've got the announcement of the winners now. Yes. Yeah, so this month we've got Adam Block, a part of the judging panel, Nik Szymanek and Yannick Akar, who unfortunately cannot be here with us today. And Nik will be the one announcing the winners today. So Nik, I'll leave it to you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. Okay, Marco, can you see that screen okay?
Yes.
Thanks. Let's go through these. Okay, okay, thanks for that. And before we announce the winners, you can see the second place one click here. We'd just like to say thank you to everyone for sending in their excellent work. We always enjoy looking through the pictures that are sent in. Adam, Yannick and myself, we look through these, we pick our favorites, we discuss them, and what you'll see coming up are the ones that we've chosen for this month. So in second place in the one-click contest, John Ebersole, a regular contributor to the competitions, for this excellent shot of the Helix Nebula. Now, the limitations, or the stipulations, I should say, for the competition were Planetary Nebula. And of course, the Helix Nebula is one of the very best in the sky. And we had a lot of images sent in of the Helix Nebula. So we enjoyed looking through these. And as I say, in second place, this one by John, which I like this one because it reminds me of bicolor images of the Helix. Most people probably know the Helix is very faint in sulfur too. So a lot of people tend to use just bicolor imaging. And this is nice because it's picked up the outer halo there. And one nice feature of the Helix Nebula is the radial striations within the nebula itself, sort of emanating from the central star. So if that can be extracted from a picture, it's always a nice thing. And in first place is another image of the Helix Nebula by Fritz Poelzel, which I hope I've pronounced that properly. This one wins 100 credits, and it's a very different view. You can see the coloration used by Fritz, the palette that he's used, looks more like a tricolor image, I think, and it's quite common to see the central area of the Helix Nebula with this nice blue color. And once again, the nice striations, the radial striations emanating from the white dwarf make it a very well processed image. And congratulations to him for the first place in the one click. Now, the second place for the Pro Dataset contest, another entry by John Ebersole of the Helix Nebula again, this time taken with Chile 3 telescope, the 1 meter telescope. And again, a very pleasing image with the higher resolution, perhaps, of on the larger image scale of the 1 meter telescope. We can see the striations emanating from the central white dwarf star very, very clearly. Nice color balance and good noise control, which is something we like to see. So congratulations to John for the second place in the Pro Dataset and the 100 credits. And in first place of the Pro Dataset contest, we have M46 and NGC 2438. So two objects for the price of one in this image by Nicholas Adriano. And this is an interesting object in that, you know, it's always great to see two objects within the same field of view. And there are a few good objects in the sky that sort of meet that criteria. But for this one, it's M46, a lovely open cluster with some nice star colors here. Good processing, shows the characteristics of NGC 2438. And again, nice sky background, nice even sky background and good noise control. So congratulations to Nicholas and for the first place of the Pro Dataset contest. And the prize for that, of course, is 200 credits. And for the final section, the advanced request, where we relax the limitation on Planetary Nebula for advanced requests. And in second place is this nice image of the Seahorse Nebula. I particularly like this one myself, by Chris Parfitt, again, a regular contributor to the Telescope Live Gallery and the competitions. And I like this image particularly because it's very understated in the fact that the main target, the dark nebulosity you see here in the center of the frame, in a seahorse shape, is quite small in comparison to the rest of the frame. But there's some nice things going on around that. You know, the bright stars are well controlled. There's a little bit of emission nebulosity towards the top of the frame. Another piece of dark nebulosity to the upper left, but great star colors. And of course, I love the spiral galaxy just down towards the center middle, lower center, I should say. So there's a lot going on in this image, and I suspect, you know, this would take a bit of processing to control the stars and bring out all those features as nicely as this. So congratulations to Chris Parfitt for another image, and a prize of 250 credits for that. And then finally, the first place prize for the advanced request contest goes to Scotty Bishop, again, another very regular contributor to the gallery and the competitions, for this image of Barnard 228, another dark nebula, a very dramatic image. Dark nebulae, they tend to be very dramatic by their nature, but this one, of course, is paired with bright, colourful stars. And we liked the dramatic nature of this image with the carefully controlled stars and a good sky background and great structure within the dark nebula. You can see sort of tonal changes within the dark nebula as well. So congratulations to Scotty for the first place of the advanced request, and of course the prize with that is for 500 credits. So thanks everyone for sending the images in, and I think I'll hand you back now to Marco, who will give you the information about the next astrophotography competition. So thanks very much for that, and Marco, over to you.
Thank you very much, Nick. And again, thank you to the other judges for reviewing the many images that you've all sent, and congratulations to the winners. So let's get back to our main presentation. Excellent. Right, so this month contests. And the first thing I wanted to say, it's an unfortunate news for the few of you who've always submitted their images to the advanced request contest. We're actually closing it down for the time being. And this is because the number of contest participants has been far too low to make it a fair and exciting contest compared to the other two contests. Now, this doesn't mean that we'll cancel it for forever. We'll need to change maybe the frequency. So we'll probably do a 6 months advanced request contest rather than a monthly advanced request contest. We simply need more images to review to be able to make it a fair and good contest. So for the time being, I'm sorry if you have an advanced request, do push your images to the gallery and wait for the next advanced request contest to open with some new rules. On the other hand, we'll of course keep the other two contests, the one-click observation contest and the Pro Dataset contest. Nothing changes there. They're both very successful contests with sometimes hundreds of images per contest. And the topic for this month, although we're kind of running out of topics, so we'll need to think what to do next, but it's broadband imaging. So you can pick any one-click observation obtained this month or any Pro dataset ever published that has been observed through the luminance red, green, and blue images. If you've participated, or actually if you posted your image in the past, that would in principle qualify for this contest, you can simply edit your image, edit your post, and add the relevant contest. And in total, we have 450 credits up for grab just for these two contests. Now, we've deleted and we've canceled the advanced request contest, but we're actually launching a new special contest. My bad, it's the September 2021 special contest, not the August 2021 special contest. Now, if you've seen the latest round of Pro datasets that we've published, we actually published the longest Pro datasets ever within our list of Pro datasets, and it depicts the giant squid nebula and the flying butt nebula. And it's an interesting one because the giant squid only appears after tens of hours of observations of in O3. And we also observed the same target in RGB, so it's a mixture of HSO and RGB. And we'd like to dedicate a special contest this month for the processing of this specific dataset. So it's an independent one. And if you want to participate, you can simply upload your image. I mean, of course, you need to process the image. You can upload the image to the gallery and use this tag here, Giant Squid Contest September 21. You've got a first place for 200 credits and a second place for 100 credits. So please do try it. We want to see some beautiful images, such as the one from Debogit, I think. Chantal, if you go next. We already have one in the gallery. This is a mixture of HO and RGB data. This is a beautiful rendition of this target. So try your version and upload it to the gallery to participate to the contest. Right, so we're done for today. So thank you very much for listening. I don't know if you've got any question, Chantal. Have you seen? I don't know if you've got access to the questions.
Marco, by the way, yes. As you said, you were running out of ideas. Maybe I can give you one idea in front of everybody. We can send some Milky Way photography data and you can make a contest with them.
Yeah, that would be absolutely great. As I said, you know, we've never really treated landscape astrophotography within Telescope Live, and it's something that we definitely want to bring in. It's sometimes more accessible, and you know, thanks to you, maybe you know, with the tutorials that you'll shoot soon, we'll definitely open a new contest for landscape astrophotography. So thanks for that suggestion. Right. So if we don't have any question now, I'll thank everybody for listening, and all our speakers today and our judges. And I'll see you in the next live event. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.